Hi, this is Robin for RsIslandCrafts, and this is Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, July 25th, 2017. I didn't get as much accomplished this week as I hoped to. I never touched the pot holders, but for my mystery quilt along, I got the next clues done. These I struggled with. I have never made a faded 4-patch before. The way they had us doing it, cutting squares, cutting triangles, and adding triangles, I found with this group that if you wait a couple days after the clue comes out, all the smart quilters will come by and give you the helpful hints. So since I hadn't made these before, I waited. They gave us a link and a video on how to make these easier. So this way, while it took a while since I had to make 72 of them, it was pretty simple. What we ended up doing is we made a rectangle. We used 2 of the squares. Then you had 2 of this color triangle, the orange rectangles, and then you put this on the back of it. And the way you stitched it and all this fancy stuff, and it made it much easier. It was a very confusing block to me because it has to be this. I'm not a precise stitcher, and these blocks had to be precise, so I had to follow the directions and take all the helpful hints. These blocks, for these blocks, I ended up following the paper pieced, the foundation paper piecing pattern for it, because there was no way. I knew I was not going to be able to get a 3.5-inch square and sewing and cutting precisely, so I did that. And all this took me a couple days. I spent a day on each of these, so it took up a bit of my week. It took me one day to figure it all out and get everything printed and cut my fabrics, and then another day each of sewing them. But I have 72 of these and 72 of these, and I know last week I said I thought we were done sewing blocks, but this week they tell us we're done sewing blocks, but I don't trust them anymore. I love the idea of doing mystery quilts and mystery blocks, but the setup for it just drives me crazy. I never know what fabric to use where and how it's. I like to wait until the end of the mystery, and then I can decide if I like the way the quilt looks and stuff like that. This time I was crazy. I just jumped in, and I don't know. They told me there was no way you can make this quilt scrappy, that it wouldn't work out. But now that it's done, now they're saying, oh, I love your scrappy, and it's going to make a wonderful quilt. So I never know what it's going to be, and I'm terrible with color choices, so I always end up going scrappy. But I love the way this turquoisey works with the orange and all these different colors, so it should make a good quilt when it's done. I did trace out my next block for the Hocus Pocusville Crabapple Hill Studios Halloween wall hanging. This time I've decided, let's see, we're doing Morgana's Apothecary, Hexes, Spells, and Potions. I like this part, Lost Small Dog Called Dorothy. I've decided to do this one in a neon pink color. It's almost a highlighter pink, fluorescent pink. I'm not sure, I wasn't sure if it was going to go with everything else, but I kind of, as I've started doing it, I really like the way it looks against the gray. So I've only put a little bit of time into that. I went ahead and switched back to Magic Loop for Robbie Socks. As I started the heel, I was working with the 4 needles in the sock and then the extra needle to knit with. This is the Waffle Stitch toe-up sock pattern. It's a free one on Ravelry. I'll put the links to all these different patterns down below. When you do your increases for the heel, this has got a gusset but no heel flap. You increase on one side of the sole and you increase on the other side. But when you're knitting with the double points, you can see it kind of left a little bit of a crease, but that'll work out. I had these on one double point and these on the other, and I kept accidentally increasing in the center, and that's not what you want. You want it to increase up on the sides. So I figured, forget it. I'm just going to switch back to Magic Loop and go with this. Eventually, I would like to try the 9-inch circulars, but once again, you're going to have to switch. You can't start a toe on it, and they say you can do, I don't know if I can fit all those stitches on the little 9-inch circulars, so we'll see. This one I've already started the heel on, as I've said, and I got a couple inches there, a little over an inch here. It's got to be fun. Robbie doesn't mind mismatched socks, so this is going to be the sole, so you can see where it's pulling on one sock on the sole, but on the other one it's pulling up on the top of the foot. So then this one, it's coming back up to the front, and this one's working its way to the back. So it's going to be fun, and he's okay with that. So I was going to do contrasting a heel in addition to the toe and cuff, but I just didn't feel like trying to figure out how to get it exactly in, and I know that this heel works well, and it's a simple heel design, so this is what I went with. I did have one finished this week. I have finished a hat that I've been knitting. I keep this one in my room, so when I go to bed at night and I'm just sitting in there watching the news, just relaxing, I knit a few rounds on the hat, or a little bit before dinner when I only have a few minutes, I just knit a few rounds on it. It's a really simple pattern. This is the original Bankhead. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Once again, links down below. And it's basically a knit 4 per 1 and then knit around, so there's no paying attention to it. It's potato chip knitting. I still have a decent sized stash of the acrylic yarns, so I just figured I'd just knit up a bunch of hats with it. They make really great Christmas gifts or stocking stuffers. We don't use them too much down here in Florida, but they're fun to send away. I love to make little zipper bags, so I wanted to play around a little bit with a small notions or a coin pouch. So I haven't put a zipper on the front down off of the top of a bag before, so I wanted to go ahead and try that. I didn't use any quilting or interfacing or anything in this one. So the thing that I'm not too thrilled with is right here on the sides you can feel the zipper tape because it goes over into the seam allowance, of course. So next time I'll just put some interfacing in it and that should solve that problem. I'd also made a cubed one similar to my knitting bag, but it was a much smaller version and in purple, and it was about 2.5 inches by almost 3 inches, but you can't see that one because that one already sold. This week with the mystery quilt, it is we have a 2 weeks off or to finish that last clue that we had, clue 5. So this week I'm hoping to definitely get these pot holders finished. I'd like to just get them off of my shelf. I want to make some more of those little cube coin purses, but I think I want to make them more of a 4-inch size. I was following a pattern where you started out with a 6-inch square. So apparently if you start with 6 inches, it works its way down to 3. So if I want something that's for 5 inches, I guess I need to go up to 8 or 10-inch square to start with. We'll see. I don't mind playing around with fabric. It's fun. So that's about it for me this week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Bye.